There we go, team. Ready, it's 1 o'clock. It is go time. And of course the question is, are we ready? Are we ever ready? Will we ever be ready? Who knows? All right, let's go. Are you ready? All right, we're getting ready. We're almost ready. Snowed outside today. We need to be ready for the snow. Hopefully we're ready for that. Hopefully we did everything here. All right, let's go. Ready, back to StreamYard. Got that going. We're live. I'm watching. I don't know if anybody else is, but that's all right. We're pretty good on the whole thing here. Oh, let's just do this. Ready? Here we go. All right. Oh, it's rather. Oh, you got me changing everything up there. That's good. All right, welcome aboard. Here we are. It is Tomato Talk time. It is now Monday, and it snowed. Monday? It snowed. That's crazy stuff, right? It snowed last night. Wasn't expecting it to do that, but it did. Again, kind of creates the whole topic for today. You know, are we ready? Well, not necessarily for the snow, although you should be. Should we make sure the cars are all set, the oil changed, new tires, got good tires on, you know, a scraper, de-icer, and everything else that goes along with it. But I'm talking about everything else that we do. There are so many things. Let me kill the music on that one. There are so many things that we do, presented with opportunities, challenges. Hey, are you interested in kind of conversations that come up? So, no, are we really ready? And how do you prepare yourself for those things that you have no idea that are coming up? There's a question for you. How do you know? How do you know what's coming up? How do you know what direction you're going in? Well, perhaps that's something that you really should know, what direction you're going in. And if you do know that, then I think it makes it a lot easier to prepare for different things. Want to start a business? You speak to maybe you're speaking to yourself. Maybe you're speaking to yourself thinking, I've been working for this company for so many years, and I've got a level of expertise. I really want to do something with it. I really want to build something out of this effort. I really want to take it to the next level, as they say. And that perhaps you're working at your company and just see that you want to be able to accomplish a little bit more. It's like, well, how do you do that? Start your own business, right? That's what you're thinking. I know that's what you're thinking. Well, that's a big job, is it not? Well, maybe it's having a real heart-to-heart conversation with your manager, owner of the company, district manager, whomever would be the most appropriate person at your company, and say, look, I need to do more. Not I'd like to do more. I need to do more. I need to be more engaged in the process of the growth of the company. I need to be more engaged in the overall product design. I need to be more involved in the sales process, whatever your story is. But if you really need to do it, you really need to be prepared. There's my next question, David. We need to be prepared for those things. So how do you prepare? There's so many different places to get information, so many different ways in order for you to get the knowledge, at least the book knowledge or video knowledge, YouTube knowledge, online class knowledge of basically what it really truly means. And this goes to the point that we're really ready. There's an easier way of looking at things, and that's going into an environment where you do have that structure already in place, and you're just looking to, let's take that word out of there. We don't want to use the word just, do we? But you're looking to make a big impact. So to get ready for that, here's what you really need to do. Sit down. I'm going to go pen and paper here, little notepad. I found that I've started doing that with something else I've been working on. When I'm something, handwriting's a little sloppy, things like that, but it was just quicker to jot it down on that piece of paper. But that's what you really need to do. Really need to sit down on that thing and write your own mission statement. What is it that you really want? Why are you really doing what it is? And what is it that you really are looking to accomplish? What is it? You don't have to share this with anybody, but it needs to be there. Because when you go in and you speak to that company and say, look, this is what I need to do, not want to do, but need to do, they're going to got to come up with the questions like, why? Why? Because you're not going to say, I'd like a raise and I'd like to do more. I'd like to be more involved. It's like, all right, la, 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 la. That sounds all nice. Sounds like a lot of just good old, plain old employee corporate speak, blah, blah. Use that word need, it's different. So you need to have it in your mind as to why. They're going to ask you why. They really should ask you why. If they don't ask you why and they say, hey, that's nice, fine, you want to know something? I think you just found out exactly where you stand. Brian, that's a good idea. We'll think about it. Bull, they're thinking about it. It's going no place. It's just going no place. Which makes your mission statement even more important. Why? Why? What is your end game? What are you really trying to accomplish? What do you really, really want out of it? When we're 20, we really know? We don't really know. What do we come up with this? Oh, yeah, I want the big house, the big fancy car. I want the family, the two-car garage. I'll make my wife happy if she listens to this one. I want a dog or a pet. I want all that, the whole picture thing. As you get older, some of those things not as meaningful as they were when we were 20. Oh, the big house, the fancy car. It's like, is that really what it is? Is that really what it is? Or is it more of a lasting impact than something goes to it? So there you go. You got to really clearly have your own personal, selfish, if you want to call it, mission statement. What do you really want? So when you get asked that question in the business, and you're going to say, why is it that you want to be more involved in the sales process? Have an answer. Well, because I think there's a shortcoming someplace. Obviously, if you didn't think there was, you wouldn't be saying that. So that's pretty obvious. But if you go into it with the thing is, look, I really want to make a permanent impact, in the company. I think the product is good. I think everything is fine, all the rest of that stuff. But I do believe that we could be reaching out into an area that we've not paid that much attention to. This is how I think we can go about doing it. And I'd like to own that project. That's an attention grabber. Definitely is an attention grabber. In your own mind, though, is why do you want to do that? Why do you want to do that? You want to become a partner of the company, an owner of the company? You want to make a permanent impact for you? You want to be really proud of something? And I think that's what a lot of it comes down to. Why do we do what we do? What is it that drives us? And this is where I don't think it's that necessary to be 100% ready for anything, because I don't think we'll be 100% ready for anything. The reality is that so many of us wind up in situations. We wind up in areas that just didn't expect to be. Wind up with things thrown at us through life that just didn't have anything. There was no way to prepare for it, whether it be a health issue, whether it be a scenario, maybe it was a partnership you went into that you thought was going to be absolutely fantastic, and it turned out to be an utter disaster. There's a few of those stories out there. There's many of those stories out there. There's probably a lot more stories out there that you don't know because it's not something you really want to go out there and talk about. But there was one person I know that actually really did want to do that. And I asked him about why. Why do you want to do that? Why do you want to stand in front of a crowd of people and say, hey, look, my name is, and this is where I screwed up? Really? Really? And the person owns a business. You would think he'd want to say, oh, my name is, I used to have a partnership. I learned a lot from that partnership and moved on. And now I'm know what I need in a partner and stuff like that and phrase it that much nicer. No, he really wanted people to know and understand about the pitfalls of going into the wrong partnership. And his story is all the rest of that. He did go into a partnership with somebody else. It worked out great. All things are good. So that's good. May you continue on good, forever. Go knock on wood. Actually got a real wood desk, which is needed every once in a while. Something solid in there. But he did for his own reason. He stated the fact that he went into a partnership that blew up, almost got him into a lot of trouble. It meant much more to him to do that than to just say, everything's a learning experience, blah, 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 blah. That, my friends, is really the difference between someone who's super sincere about what it is that they want to accomplish. And I know, speaking to so many people, it goes beyond just making a dollar. It's making that permanent impact. And that's what it was. He didn't want to see anybody go through that thing. And if you could avoid that, you're steps ahead of where he was because he had to get through that hurdle as that goes. And maybe that's what you want to do at your place of business. Maybe there has been something that went on that was just like wrong. It's like, look, I've been here at this company, blah, blah, ran into this kind of a situation. I saw what the problem was. There is no way I'm repeating that again. We should make sure that we do everything we possibly can to make sure nobody else runs through that whole thing. This is why I want to do this thing. This is why I want to really take a look at how we sell, who we sell to, how you produce something, what the operations of the company and all the rest of that stuff. And I can tell you right now, the person sitting on the opposite side of that desk, they're going to see a few things. One, they're going to see that body language deal because there's no way you're going to sit back like a pompous moron. I say, oh, your sales process is not good. I could do it much better. Like, you're an ass. You're an ass. It's like, forget it. That conversation's going no place. If they say you leaning forward and you go through that same kind of comments, I'm going to choose your words a little bit better. They're like, look, I understand the problems we've had. I was part of it. I know. I just know. And I know it from the inside out. And this is why I want to take on this new project. This is what I want to do it to do. All right. So your why is incredible. What about starting your own business? Let's get into that before we get into like what knowledge do you really need in order to do some of these things, right? You've never managed before. How could you do that? You want to start your own business. You've never started your own business before. How could you do that? I'll say it's easy. It's not easy. The idea is easy. The implementation is unbelievably hard. But goes back to that notepad. Why? Why? If your why is that strong, here's what's going to happen in the outside world, not just in the business world, not just at your place of business. Because you sit down at the place of business, you're going to be leaning forward. They're going to see that. You're going to use words like need, not want to. You're going to use words like, this is what I think should be done. Or this is how I plan to do it. Not, you should consider. It's not it. And of course, here, right here, you're going to hear it. It's not going to come out of your nose talking. It's going to come right out of here. Maybe even come down even a little bit below. Going to come right from your gut because you know it's something it should be. And you're going to be talking very forcefully. You're going to be leaning forward, and you're going to be talking with no without any uncertain or wishy-washy terms. You're going to be clear about it. That's inside of a business setting. But if you really need to do it, what if that manager said, no, thanks for your ideas, but, well, then you want to know something? Then it's the next step. Maybe the next step should have been the first step in the first place. It all depends upon who you are, what you're doing, what's inside of you, what your risk level is, and things like that. Going back to our notepad here. First things first, what's the mission? What is it? What do you want to do? How much are you willing to risk in order to do that? If you're not willing to risk anything, that manager conversation, it's not going to go well because you're going to be, well, this is what I think you should do. Are you willing to put your job on the line to really tell them, not suggest, but tell them this is the way it should happen? Well, the more that you're really, really emphatic about what you want to do, that you need to do it, you're going to tell. You're going to tell. And if you're not in the right spot, well, you want to know something, maybe you're not in the right spot. If they're open to it, well, you don't want to know something, you get all kinds of success. But what if you have to go alone and do it? What happens if that happens? Harder? Without a doubt. Without a doubt. It's hard. It is so hard. You've seen that with different projects that you've done. You're like, all right, hey, this is what we like to do. How do you do it? Bring out the notepad, make sure the mission's there. Now you got to write down plus or minuses. Got to write, well, why do I want to do it? What's the risk of doing it? And all the rest of that stuff. If the pluses outweigh the minuses, you're onto something. But you're only onto the beginning side of it. Because now you got to figure out, what if it works? What if you're able to build that business? What happens? I know you've seen it happen with some projects. You take on a project and all of a sudden it works. You're like, whoa, I can't believe we actually did that. How many times have you said that? I can't believe we did it. But we did it. That was amazing. Was it worth the sacrifice for it? I hope so. I hope so. And you got to ask that question not when you achieved it, but the day after, the week after. Was it worth it to sacrifice everything you did and gave up to get to that point? That's what has to happen if you want to start a business. And that's a big list. That's a very important list. I was watching one of these videos that came up. It was a short one on Facebook. I don't know who did it. I'd give them credit if I knew who did it. I didn't do it. They did it. They said it and said, here's the thing. Here's the thing. If you own your own business, you never stop thinking about it. Never. You never do. It's always on your mind. It's always there. There's always some sort of a tie-in. There's always something that happens that you think about it. You go to sleep at night, you're nice, you're peaceful, you're dreaming, you wake up, it's like, oh, wait a second, I have an idea. When do you walk away? How can you walk away? And of course, you got money concerns, you got time concerns, you got family concerns that factor into it. All these things do. But as we get older, some of those challenges may disappear. If you've been unbelievably successful and you could throw X amount of dollars into a business to see if it works, hey, that's great. You got to go into that business a little bit more. Hey, let's see what happens. See what happens means you're destined for failure. Mission statement has to be there. It goes along the way. But at least you don't have the money concern, so that's a plus. What about the family concerns? Still have kids at home? You run your own business. And, especially if it's retail, Saturday and Sunday, not days at home, it's days at work, days in the office, days at your place of business. That's a sacrifice. It has to happen, and has to work with everybody. You can't fight the dynamics of the family and the lifestyle that you have to do something that's totally different. Just is going to be a lot of friction along the way. Spouse has to be on board with the idea. Doesn't have to be working side by side with you. Has to be on board with the idea. You have little kids at home, might be much more of a challenge. But if you're later on in your career, later on in life, you know, and you got more flexibility, you have a lot of things going on. Perhaps you have the money set aside. That's great. Perhaps you don't have the family requirements that you've had in the past. I remember I used to coach a soccer team. It was an intramural local thing, no big deal. But these parents that showed up with multiple kids, they're running around from one thing to another all day long. You know, Johnny plays at 8, Mary plays at 12, Tom's playing at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Hopefully everybody's in the same field, or at least in the same park, same area. But if one's doing travel, the other one's doing intramural, and you're away for the weekend, and then you got practices on top of it, and you want to start a business, good luck. Good luck. You got all those other time constraints on you. Good luck. But when those 3 kids go to college, or those 3 kids go and start their own business, or those 3 kids are at their higher learning institute, vocational program, whatever they're doing, and they're in their own world now, they've got themselves situated where you're not running from soccer field to soccer field. Got a little bit more time, got a little less responsibility there because you're always going to pay attention to your kids. But still, you freed that up a little bit more so. And probably the biggest thing too is going to be knowledge. And this is going to factor into, actually, I think all of this kind of factors into both of those things. Because if you're going to start a project at your place of employment, you're going to be thinking about it quite a bit because you need it to work. You're going to start your own business, whether it be a home business, whether it be a brick and mortar business, whatever. You're going to be thinking about it all the time. That's the one thing you need to be ready for. That's the one thing you could prepare for. That's the one thing that absolutely has to be there. Are you willing to make the time, money, family, free time sacrifices for it? That I will tell you right now, you need to know that. You need to be ready for that. But then there's a lot of other things that you just don't know. You don't know. You're going to go into business. What does that mean? It means you need an accountant. Yeah. Do you need to know what the accountant knows? No, but you need to know an accountant. What about a lawyer? How do you structure it? Do you need to know? You may not need to know and that kind of thing, but you need to go figure out that resource there too. What about your marketing person? Got to put that together. Business coach? Yeah, in this case, I would definitely say if it's your first go around with a business coach. Get a business coach. You can hire a coach, hire a sales coach. You can go to SCORE free. That's totally open to you. In and around here, we have the Miller Business Center. Perhaps there's a business center by you that runs programs. Libraries run programs all the time. You want to go to that thing. It may not be personal attention, but you're going to learn and you're going to be exposed to different things that you didn't know. And then the Small Business Development Centers, great people in there. You're going to be assigned a coach in there. You got to come in there with a plan. You got to go to school with a plan. You really should show up at the library with a plan. It doesn't have to be correct, but it has to be a plan. It has to be thought out. You have to know what that mission statement is. You have to know who that target market is. You have to know what it is that you don't know. Not just what you do know, but what it is that you don't know. And do the research with it. Don't know how to do the research with it? That's easy. Oh, the research is not easy. Go to your business center. Go to your library. Speak to the research person in the library. Many libraries, many libraries. Many libraries have grown tremendously. I want to say positive. One of the outcomes of COVID is that these libraries have become unbelievable resource centers to us. Again, we have the Miller Business Center, which is just absolutely terrific. And they if you're listening, you're getting a phone call later. I got a project working on. I need to get some factual information on it. So I know I don't know the factual stuff, and I'm not even sure where to begin with it. I know exactly what I need to show. I don't know how to show. but tap into your local resources. Find them. Some of them free, some not. Start with the free stuff. That's good. Oh, you want to do this thing immediately? You maybe you do need to pay somebody flat out. Find a business coach. Find a business coach that's respectable. To find a business coach that listens. Find a business coach that knows something about what you want to do. How do you do that? Well, that takes time, energy, and effort just as well. It certainly does. You got to go figure that one out, as well. Where are you going to locate? Good question. Don't know. How do you figure that out? You go online, you go some hybrid, some of it's online, some of it's not. Well, now all of a sudden you need a website and you need a location and you need to build a location. You're going to need money here. Your risk level on the financial side just went up quite a bit. Do you really need to go in person? Do you need to have a brick and mortar building? Or can you just do everything online? Do you know? Will you really know? And this is where it becomes so hard. Are we really ready to start a business? Are we really ready to walk into someone's office and say, hey, look, this is what we need to do. I want the project. Or when you're going to turn around to your spouse, your business partner, your partner, and say, look, I want to start a business. I'm willing to put the time, energy, and effort into it. I understand some of the issues. I don't understand all of the issues. I'm going to put the research into doing it, set a time frame on that one, and then go and do it. And then build out those people surrounding you that you could really, truly trust. Because when it comes time for you to talk to your business partner, your spouse, your partner, or even your manager or district manager or the owner of the company, whatever, they're going to want to know what you know. And I think if you present this to somebody else, I think if they're astute, they're going to ask you what it is that you don't know and how you're going to deal with the I don't knows. Put the effort into it. There are a lot of things in life that we need to do. Yeah, I was just reading the notes over here. David, you're 100%. Writing is the tactile piece of thinking. Yeah, without a doubt. Without a doubt. David's got it together here. Does a lot of speaking too. David's one of those folks that you definitely want to chat with, uh, to hammer out an idea every once in a while, to learn about things, and real life issue things as you go through. But set a time aside. It's not an hour. It's a lot more than that. Set time aside. Maybe it's an hour each and every day for you to think about it. Maybe you're better off thinking in clumps of time. Maybe you're better off going out for a walk and thinking that way. Get yourself a little recorder or your phone. You could just record right into your phone or jot notes as you go and you're going to sit down someplace, whatever it is. Maybe you need that clump of time to go think it out and think it out and think it through and then put it down. Kind of like proofreading, right? You write something. You think you could proofread your own thing? Most of the time, not. I know I cannot. If I set it aside for a period of time, then come back, I'll see some more of it, but I won't see all of it. This idea of a business plan, this idea of a project you want to take on, jot it all down. Good ideas, bad ideas. Don't judge yourself. Just go with it. Go with it. Then set it aside for a day, 2 days, 3 days, maybe it's a week, whatever time you need to do to separate yourself from it and look at it from a third person point of view. And what did you miss? There goes your second list. And when you're comfortable with that, now you're ready to present it. Present it to your group of people that is going to give you real feedback on it. And then do the research you need to do. But you'll never be ready. You'll never be 100% ready. You'll never know everything until you actually do it. And that's the best part of the whole thing is actually doing it. You could shadow somebody on it, all the better. But don't think that you're going to be 100% ready. Got to go into it with the understanding that you will learn. You will run into things that you don't know. And you got to be comfortable doing that. And if you're not, then continue on your research thing. One of the schools over here started it was a bakery program. And the best thing I think that they did is they took it out of the school, actually started a bakery, a real brick and mortar bakery. What do the students need to know? What it's like, that lifestyle thing. What is it? Someone turning the key at 3 o'clock in the morning and getting those ovens fired up. Glamorous? Not at all. Money making? Not at all. It kind of suck on a Sunday morning to get up that early after going out on a Saturday night. If it really sucks, that ain't the business for you. Hey, you got to get to know those things. Sometimes you don't know it until you do it. Try to be prepared as much as you can and then get ready to do those things that there's no way that you would prepare for. But you got to have the confidence to do it. That's something you could always do. Continue to build upon your confidence. So you will be out there and you will do what you need to do, even though you're not ready to do it. Technically, I think they call that the imposter syndrome, but whatever it is, you'll do it. You just got to have a big, 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 big why. Stronger your why, the better your chances of success are, the more you're going to continue on, and the more you're going to be open to asking for help. Thank you for that. All right. Get that mission statement? Now, what are you going to do? You're going to speak well, you're going to speak often, and you're going to live inspired, and the right resources will come to you. That's an absolute. Have an absolutely great day.